Welcome back. Focused Hands here, and we're back with a update video for the transmission, which is over here, for the 2005 Ford Focus ST, which I've been trying to build for the last year or so. All right, so let's dive directly into what the issue is with the transmission. I'll show you a clip of me trying to fit the transmission back together right now. All right, so here's the moment of truth. Do these two fit together? So, in here. All right, so it seems that I'm having an issue with either the input or the output shaft. And the issue I'm having is when I separate these two, I can close the case on either one. So if I only have the output shaft in, the case will fully seat together. If I only have the input shaft in, the case will fully seat together. And it's just for me to test to see if I can even continue with the build. So there is an issue somewhere on this train, and I'm not sure where the problem lies. That's gonna put me in a bind here to figure out what is actually going on with this whole system. All right, so as you can see from that clip, I couldn't really close the transmission casing on either side because there was something going on between the input shaft and the output shaft. And I really couldn't figure it out at first until I started diving deeper and actually looking at each part that I changed on the transmission. So I'm gonna bring you in here. Here's the old shaft, and I got numbers on it and whatnot for things that I've learned through this whole process and what I want to share with you all. So if you look at the old shaft here on the left, let me get something to point out here. So here's the here's the new shaft. This is the new shaft, right? Zoom in a little more. And here's the old shaft on the right. You see the difference here? To the untrained eye, which, you know, when I originally started this project, my eyes were untrained. And this looked exactly like that to the untrained eye. If you come down here and look at just the engravings are the same-ish until you look closer and you realize, no, these are drastically different. This little section here leading up to this apex, drastically different. And in fact, here you have a 12 count on this gear. So it's a 12, 22, and 10, excuse me, 11. And this one, I think, is a 12, 22, and 10, I believe. But we'll get back to more of that in a second. So let's continue going. Everything here checks out, both same numbers here, but just larger for the flanges. These are all the gears, blah, 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 blah. I'm actually going to pull all this and change all this brand new while I have it out. And then you get to the fifth gear and reverse gear. So even here, when you look at the gears for the reverse idler, I guess, they're slightly different on both of them, which, you know, like I said, untrained eye really wouldn't catch this. You would think that these are the same thing. So I reached out to Ford Parts Giant about this, and I told them, hey, look, somehow I ordered, because I put in my VIN number for my Focus ST, and I received this info for this car. You know, a couple of months later, I see two varying input shaft, one for a 3.82 ratio and one for a 3.56 ratio. Well, guess which one I got for this rebuild? I got a 3.56 ratio, which would never and is never going to work with the input shaft or the output shaft, because it's designed for a 3.82 ratio. And to now which Ford Parts Giant is like, oh, well, you know, it's past our $30 or 30-day policy. We can't do a return on the item. All right, whatever. You know, that's fine. I'm a little annoyed by that, but that's fine. Uh, I can't say that it was a mistake on my end. But then again, I'm going to take blame for it for not knowing the difference between the 3.56 and the 3.82. So I now will have to pull all of this stuff off, like I said earlier, and I got to find a new B bearing from here. So I got to reach out to Ford, and I actually have another one of these to swap over to the new input shaft that I have to get. That's also 3.822. It's a 3.82 ratio. And then I can put everything back in the transmission and we can start rebuilding this thing. So a slight setback for this episode. And I wasn't too happy when I figured out, I learned the ins and outs about this. But now I have a 356 gear that I'm probably going to pass off to either someone that needs it and or make some kind of art out of it here coming for a giveaway. But anyway, that's going to be it for today's episode. I just want to give you a little update on what actually happened to the transmission and why there hasn't been an updated video for this, because I've really been researching it. I mean, but if you look close at the beginning, you would have known right away that these two were different. I actually ended up putting this on Instagram, and I wanted to see if anybody else would notice the difference, and nobody that reached out to me noticed any difference between the two, which means that they didn't even know that there were two different input shafts for the 2005 Ford Focus. I had no idea, because when I ordered this, there was only one. Anyway, with that said, pretty interesting things to do for the SE over here, and we will get back at the same time working on the ST, because I really want to get that car done before summer. So there's a lot of work to do still on that car, and to test the engine to see if it actually works. That's the biggest elephant in the room right now. But anyway, thank you for the support, and come back for some updates here real soon. It's Focus Hands signing off. Peace.